Hey guys, the there's one thing. This is called Yugioh Remix by me, of course. Sorry. So Yugioh Remix, hey, on this channel, on this video, I'll take like, sorry, I'll take popular things like take the old archetype. Sorry about my. I put some Vexer on my chest. So the I, I take cards that's like banned into like tier 1 or tier 2. Take from banned cards like Pot of Greed. Let me think. The whatever cards in the ban list and turn them into the like the good version. So I create this video for that. So number or that's why I put number 10 is my favorite card that I have these in real life is Ancient Gear this. Or not banned, but whatever her cards are banned. So if I had to remake them, it's for a good purpose. Like and plus this is also could this be better? Or like so I'm making blue eyes or like could this be better for like any archetype? Please comment down below and say what archetype do you want to see be made. So far 50% of you, and the other 50% on my Twitter. I'll leave a Twitter comment below, and of course, you'll like. Okay, let me rephrase that. I made 2 cards. Go check out my Twitter account. Or not my. In underground people. Let me show you what I mean. I mean, YouTube, if you're watching this, this is my question for YouTube. Not YouTube. YouTube. Need to make, could this be better for Ebel archetype? Because I was trying to like, I would be challenging you and people to make a archetype, or this is called. I know it's called Yu-Gi-Oh Remix. So it's not a theme song. So it takes like say effect monsters or like hey, it's spell cards or trap cards like this one. This one. Sing it coin toss. This I would make this into another card. Okay, that like it says as long as this card remains face up on the field, you can negate the effects of a card, a coin toss once per turn, and you can roll. It's kind of like the gamble card. So, for if it was me, if I was Konami that mixed those cards, I would give it a broken effect. Like when this card is activation, toss a coin, and if you land on heads, if you land on heads, your opponent automatically loses. Tails, you have to draw one card or 5 cards for each card that's on the field. And Pot of Greed? Sheesh. Why is that card banned? I don't know, but for some reason if it was, or I would I would remake that card into my image, and I really don't care about that. Like, why is it banned? Why? Everybody's asking, why is this card banned? Well, because everybody from Yu-Gi-Oh! Uses it. Draw 2 cards. Draw 2 cards. Draw 2 cards. Draw 2 cards. I could give up, or I would rather give up whatever it's called, Raphael, or Lord of Phantasm, or I would rather give Lord of Phantasm that effect. And like when this card, I would give this effect to Pot of Greed. When this card's activated, I would keep its original effect, but I could add on, like when this card's or draw 2 cards from your deck, and then you can special summon one, or no, you can discard 2 cards, or no, discard or send 3 top cards to your graveyard, and if you have any monsters in your graveyard, you can special summon them onto your side of the field. That's what I did too. Like, because I'll make like kind of effect give to a ban cards. Then I would make them into tier 1 if I was Konami. Sure. Here, if I was Konami and built those cards, I would definitely me build them up. Sorry. There we go. Sorry. And if I was Konami, and of course, if I was like the card makers that make Yu-Gi-Oh cards, give me 1,000,000 likes on this video and the next video that I'm gonna do. Then I'll decide to do like remake those cards and pretty much do all that stuff. But I would make, like, say that what I said earlier, Lord of Phantasm, he has this weird effect. But when, like, say, if he only discards all the theme type monsters out into the grave to special summon him, I would rather change his effect to like discard 3 cards from your hand to special summon, or not from your hand, from your deck to special summon him, and then all that stuff. But that's number, I always call it number 1. That's Lord of Phantasm and Pot of Greed. It's number 2. Pot of Greed is 2. Number 3. I always think of, like, because the Lord of Phantasm should be, like, banned because of his original effect. But Lord of Striking Thunder, that creature's effect needs to be redone. Sorry. That the effect should be like when this card is summoned, or this card turn, it can't be normal summon or set. You can send top 3 cards from your deck or from your opponent's deck to the graveyard, and when this card is summoned this way, clean out your opponent's side of the field, and this card attacks directly, and every time these cards are destroyed or like went to graveyard, you'll like, I summoned him, I summoned you, I summoned pizza, or not pizza, but of course he would be number 3. Number 4, I'm doing like mix of both, like remix and add new stuff to the old archetype things. For number 4, I chose for the remix one, Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. It says like one Blue Eyes White Dragon plus one blue eyes white dragon plus one blue eyes white dragon. But I would keep its like little stats, but I could add on to it, like add to it, like make it more useful in today's decks and all that stuff. But for me, if I was those two, I would make Blue Eyes archetype. Like, it's toss a coin. Or Blue Eyes toss a coin dragon. That would have been a cool card to. I would make it after this video. Give me 100 likes and I'll make it. Mind you, if you didn't, I still could make it. And, by the way, I really want likes. Follow me on, go to, subscribe and turn that notification bell. Or hit that little bell on. For seriousness, Nobby, make one card or a couple cards that I will say the 4 cards that I mentioned earlier, like Lord of Phantasm, Pot of Greed, the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, and Lord of Striking Thunder. And now number 5, Lord of Searing Flames. My goodness. That card needs to be... That card needs to be pushed into the better games. Like, I would give it I would do its effect. Like, I would keep the normal effect, like adds new effects to it. But when I do any archetype, before probably this video, when it comes out, I'll make a little archetype or I'll do something I care about Yu-Gi-Oh, but those ban cards, today's decks, you need to pull your britches up and start dueling. Or grab your duel disc and cards and start dueling. Konami, people that makes Yu-Gi-Oh, please add one card that I'll say after I already did my 5th one. Now I'll say it. Blue Eyes Twin Dragon. So I created that card, of course, by taking Blue Eyes. Give me Blue Eyes. Come on, Blue Eyes. Yeah. And another Blue Eyes, or of course I modified it. Sorry about that. Of course, I would rather choose, because I made that card, it takes 2 blue eyes white dragons instead of 3 to be like when this card is summoned and your or forget his effect. When this card is summoned, or if, or like all that stuff, if this card is destroyed, special summon 2 blue eyes white dragons to your set of field in attack position, and of course, or wait, when this card is like, oh sorry, I thought about it. When this card is summoned, you choose 2 or no, add 2 cards from your deck to your hand, and when this card is, there's a combo. When this card, or if this card goes to the graveyard, like, you get 2 blue eyes to be special summoned at the same time in the attack position, and of course you can add or this and add a plasmation from like your grave or your deck to your hand, and then of course there's this combo. So if you had like 2 blue eyes on a field, and that, of course, that dragon went to a graveyard, you get, of course, you get those 2 cards back. But if you, like, when this card's summoned, like, say if you had blue eyes white dragon, number 3 in your deck, then summoned 2 blue eyes onto your set of field. But, or of course, when he is destroyed, you can summon those 2 blue eyes back, add plasmation, and you would have the 3rd and final blue eyes white dragon onto your set of field, and then this card, or of course you'll like say activate plasmation, fuse those 3 to the graveyard, and then you summon Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. But this card, like when this card is like, or if you have Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, you can summon those 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons to your set of field in attack position, and then this card, and then this card comes back to the field in attack position, and it would be like 5, and of course twin-headed dragon gains 4,500 attack, full or attack and defense for each Blue Eyes White Dragons on the field, including itself. So it takes, like, did you like say if someone on it's on your set of field, so so there's like 4 blue eyes, white dragons, one, two. So kind of did a little bit of overlap. So this card, if it had like a big monster with like infinital attack, and if you wanted to discard all your monsters, of course, Blue Eyes Twin Dragon could easily like summon those 3 dragons, and then plus with Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon and Twin Dragon, there would be a little combo. So it would be a lot smarter to make that into a real card, or Yu-Gi-Oh card makers that's making like Yu-Gi-Oh. And I personally, that would be number 1. Number 2, well, I already did there's the armored cards that I would choose. Or there's like, I would rather give like structure deck people that like makes like, was watching this YouTuber, go check him out. He's pretty cool. He and plus there's Yu-Gi-Oh like Maximilian Pegasus's fantasy cards. There are structured cards or structured deck. So my favorite video that I would recommend to you, lovely people out, you all should watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Structure Deck Armored Assault, Armored Assault Structure Deck for Yu-Gi-Oh! There's a guy on there. First, I made the card just for the armored cards. It's called Arm of Greed. Usually, sometimes your arm like spazzes out, like your armor sometimes goes like from shield to sword, shield, sword, like that. And sometimes, but that trap card that I made, because of that, or it's called, or that trap card, it's called Armored of Greed. And I also made Target Monster. When this card's activated, target 1 monster or target 5 cards on the field, destroy them, and all that stuff. But for Greed, you get those targeted monsters back onto your field, or grab them from your graveyard and bring them. It's kind of like greedy. Like, I want, here, let's use the example. If I had, they have a pretty good combo in it. I don't recommend it. If I made a structure deck, give me, how about 2 likes? Then I'll make or I'm trying to think. How about 4,000 likes on this video, and the next video, and the next video. So, like, target one, like, say, pretend this is an armored monster, like Burning Knuckle, or a helmet, and I had my opponent summon Gilfrey the Iron Knight on the field. But when I activate that trap card, bye-bye. Or that one card, then I would use trap called Arm of Greed. I get back that like Gilfrey Iron Knight one. I'm just using those like Skylanders as an example. Like, say if someone, it would be fast, and plus if I made like a card for fantasy structure deck from, what's that kid's name? Please leave it in the comments. I'll read it to you. Let me see. Let's do live. So I know I see you, and I would definitely chose any archetype if I had to, like, if it was from like anime exclusive or archetype, any archetype, I would definitely remake the cards, fantasy cards that it's another one from, you know, that one was like Valkyries ones, that those not season 4, I think it was season 5 or whatever, from Yu-Gi-Oh, the original one, Valkyries, and those I would rather make his brother's cards into like today's decks, because usually I don't mind have like remake Tom Thumb or what is that called? So I would rather choose, if I had to choose between any archetype, or of course, sorry about that crashes. So that Iron Knight, no, or Iron, like when it says when this card is summoned by a Iron Axe guy, I would rather give it a positive effect. Like when discarded, I would change it. This card loses 1,000 attack points. I would rather change loses to gains. Gains. Not game. Gain. G-A-I-N. And plus, like, say, or that spell card Gingerbread House. I would rather remake that card. Like when this card is summoned, you can special summon the Wicked Witch of the West, or the Witch monster. That's what I am gonna make after this video. To be special summon onto your side of the field, and of course destroys all opponent's monsters and spells and trap cards from your opponent's side of the field to the grave, and then all your monsters gain 5,000 points or attack points for each card that was sent from the field, or like from your opponent's side of the field, to the grave, to their grave, not yours. And that, by this effect, like all your monsters gain, like if I did, each one would be 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. It would be probably, if you think about it, you could easily be overpowered and just like bada bing, bada boom. And now I'll move on to my favorite cards that I really want to remake from this like video. It's called Structure Deck. It's called, or it's an anime only cards called Infantile Darkness Structure Deck ones. I would rather give the infant, or like darkness, that field spell called darkness. I would rather give that, like his effect, to, or like to be like, or of course I keep its effect. Sorry, my hair is sticking straight up. I know what you're thinking. I'm right here, and he's right over there, if you were wondering. He was over there. Okay? Hi, Haley. And, by the way, of course, I'm not dead, so I would rather give Necro Slime the effect, like when this card is summoned, you can then add 4 trap cards or 5 trap cards from your deck to your hand, ignoring the summoning conditions, or ignoring the activation of darkness. But for me, the Darkness Outsider, bring that card in. Let's remake it, shall we? And I would choose to make that, trap card, I wouldn't rather make a trap card, or I would rather make that monster have like a broken effect that could be easily be fixed. When this card is summoned, target three cards from your opponent's deck. I like the effect that's like, here, ready? Pretend I'll let it take your key cards and add it to my card. Or I take your spell card and I'll use its activation. I would rather have those cards, or I would rather have those, like, Infernal Darkness. Why Kanabi, he did not make them in the first place? I don't know. If I was them, I would make it instant. And that's what I would do. But now moving on to the confusing part. It's called... Sorry. It would be called... The Rise of Atlantis. Structure deck one. I would give By Serpent Get. Hence, I would remake it to, like, of course, I'll keep its original effect, but I have to change, like, discard your entire hand to the grave and pay all your life points. And normally it's a lot to activate it. But for me, I would rather change it to, like, discard 2 cards and reduce all your life points to 5,000, or better yet, 4,000. Because some of those monsters, they get, like, all those. Like, of course, I would rather make a spell card for them. It would be called... Okay, I'm trying to... Or, it's... The Alacalcos ends, or end of seal, or breaking seal. It's called end of days. Of course that. Nothing. Who's there? Be right back. Who the heck are you? I'm your worst nightmare. Oh no! Shut up! Oh! What? Bleh. Sorry.
Don't worry. I was trying to be a zombie. No. I don't. I just made some random sounds from it. Like, pretend a guy's at the door and I open it. And then that guy, like, or I say, "Who are you?" Then all that stuff. There's no real guy out in front. No, no, no. I would rather. Back to the real topic. I would definitely make us like the end. That would be called, or like Seal of Alcalcos. I would put Alcalcos of the End. Of course, there's a Seal of Alcalcos. There's so many Alcalcos cards for it. In like a real world stuff and a animated version. I would rather make like the like Alcalcos of the End into a trap card. It would be when this card's summoned or when this card's activated, you can draw 5 cards, and if any of them have like Seal of Alcalcos or Alcalcos in their hand or in your hand, special summon them onto the field or activate them if it's spell cards or trap cards. I would rather have that trap card be for those cards. Now remember for that armored monster or armored deck that the owner had in the animated. Here, it's hard for me to like think. Sorry. And I'm adding it because they really here. I would rather. Where is it? It wasn't it in. Oh, here it is. Valen. Sorry. That one. So, Valen in the structure deck that I'm watching right now, I would definitely change like not a bang blow one, because I like that combo. It's just the effect of like say Fairy Tales one, or I would call that structure deck Fairy Tales. That not armored one, the other one. I would rather, and I really want to see like My Hero Academia. I hate that part. Okay, ready? I will make sure. Sorry. I will make you have a structure. My plate. I hate that. I I would rather. I would tell you I would rather. I would rather have a structure deck. Of course, you'll. I'm. Of course, I. You, or sometimes I take comments from like everyone's comments, and of course, got my pencil right here. So I put. Of course, I take like comments from other videos, like if I had to choose, like, there's one comment that I really wanted that someone would ask me about. It would say, "Who's your favorite character from Yu-Gi-Oh? All of the seasons, and why?" Don't worry, I didn't know have a zip. The myself and I, we both decide on one thing. Like Armored Valen, the Armored Structure deck opening. I I see like comments. I go to like different YouTubers, like the Forge Legend YGO. Oh, huh, oh, and Diamond Minecart and Popular MMO and Jen and all those people that I choose. I would choose, of course, you'll probably ask me, "Hey Chaz, what is your favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card and why?" Well, that's easy question. Easier said than done. My favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card would have to be the Big Bang Blow, because there's a combo. Like, say if you had a bunch of monsters on your opponent's side or on the field, use that card, and of course everybody takes damage, and of course you would, or of course you can't take damage because each armor, or like say a chest plate and Black Hole Shield and all those people, I would rather see them create those cards into today's decks. And I would definitely make like an ultimate card. Like I want to make a card that it would be contains explosion, or like there's Big Bang Blow card. I would make a trap card, or of course a spell card. It would be called
or of course big bang shield. The effect is is pretty good. When if you or when this card's activated, there only or this card can only be activated or like when this card is activated, your opponent hits all opponent's monsters, spells, and trap cards goes to the graveyard, and plus I'm I feel sad now because all you people did not like. I have 0 people that are listening and 0 thumbs up. So, that totally makes me sad. And I would rather have 10,000 likes, or better yet, all the likes in the world, and I feel bad, because all you people, and I feel bad for all the schools, because all these schools, when they used to be like doo 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 doo. For me, don't get me started. That would be a next video that I'll make, because some people decide. Here, I'll let my other version, like, of course he's here. My goodness. Like Two-Face one that she's like, let's do that stuff. Or let's just do that thing. And like, toss a coin, and instead of doing like he did, we both agree, okay? You're okay. Well, this would be my top 10 of why schools should be, why people don't be nice to children and all those things. Alright. So, number 10. People, or like students, goes to the bathrooms, draws on bathroom walls. Everybody hates that. Even me, I hate that more than anything, because every time I go into like a public bathroom, like at the schools or anywhere, you know who gets punched, or you know who, like, I see every day, and I am sick and tired of people drawing on walls, doing, and that's not the worst one. Number 9. People get sick. Or students get sick from like they bring that sickness to these schools, and these, like, everything that they touch and all that stuff, they
who would get punished? Who would be punished for sending their kids to school? This, hopefully Donald Trump would, and the selective people could see that as the threat to, like, schools. I would rather I would rather, if I was president, ain't gonna say none, I would say, or if I was like part of those people, I would choose to keep kids home. If they're sick, they have to stay at their house if they're sick. Because all that germs and bacteria and all those people that are sick, like, oh, I can't go to work, or I would rather, of course, parents get, or like those parents of those children, they get sick all the time, but or they can't deal with the kids. Well, it's your kids. You have to deal with them. If they're sick, make them stay home, lie in bed, and bring them some soup. And if I had to choose between, and number 8, well, number 8 will be the people of rudeness. Like, I usually get rude all the time, but people at, like, their house, or like that number 10 that people draw on the bathroom or public bathrooms walls, I don't mind. Or if I was like, of course, if I was a police officer or someone that owns, like, say, a company, I would rather choose I would rather choose to go over to someone's house, and or certain people that if they draw, I would find them. Like, I would go over to their house, and their parents, well, see, blah blah blah. You need to learn, or to control your kids, because they are getting bad. So now, by consequences for your kids' actions, and you send them to the school, I will go into your bathroom and draw random stuff onto your bathroom, and you don't have authority to do that stuff. You don't have authority to do nothing about it. So, and now we're going on to number 8. So, that thing I. Those people need to learn to be respectful. Like, here, let me open the door for you. And all that stuff. But no, in this world, nope. Or in this country, Donald Trump says, let's make Washington great again. Well, it is great until it's not. It's not Mexicans. Don't worry, I'm not Mexican. I'm American. I'm. It's the schools. It's the people's work area or work. They, because sometimes those people that work at like they like say if your boss is being a jerk. I'm just using that example. If your boss is a jerk and you quit your job, they don't have the rights to say, oh, you need to pay this much back because you. Well, they would have to pay up for their mess up. And if they say like, oh, I want, of course, I'm trying not to be like those people, but if I was president, I would treat everybody the same. If they're bad guys, treat them as a bad guy. Throw them in jail. Torture them. But not like torture them. It's just this Washington is really messed up from this point or from this day on. Since from when presidents, Democrats, did I say that right? Sometimes I say it wrong and I'm not I'm just being honest person. That's what. No, 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 no. You can't have that. 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 It's like, I'm more honest, like, yes, you may. And here you go. That's what people should have done. It's kind of like that, like, movie Shazam one that, or not Shazam, I forget the name of it. It was Witness or Witness one, and that guy talks to the person and or talks to like a manager thing, and then there's two people in the behind him, like very far, And of course, that guy. Those people that yell at their like wives and all those, or, like they forget the 50-50, like 50 change ends of like talking, like there's 50 for talking people and there's 50 for listening. Forget that. The people need to be. Mm, 100% for listening, 0% for screaming at people like, oh, or like if I had Echo on here, I would say, hey Echo, get me a glass of water or something. Then she won't, or she just goes get it. I'm just using her as example. So it's like when people like cry, or when they're like, say when people like cry, or when they're like starting to cry, when you have to do something, you have to. It's your good deeds. I would challenge everybody to be kind to everybody. None of shouting at people like wah, wah, eh. I want you to go that way, that way, that way, that way, that way. It's like you need to be quiet. I I treat everything like a little bit like a library. It's like library is like a place not for talking so loud. But they, with people that they are like being goofed off, or not, or being mean to their friends or their wives or their children. That's not right for them to do that. It everybody, or like everybody says, oh, you got freedom of speech, or like you got freedom. What cost of freedom? I'm not. That's on a whole different one. Now there's so many. Now let's talk about a happier things, like Yugioh Orca structured. I would rather choose three things that I could remake. Armored structure deck to real life today's decks. The darkness and, or like infantile darkness, and the, where is it? I'm trying to think. Uh, it's somewhere in the. Oh, that's easy. The Valkyrie Rise of the Valkyries or Siegfrieds. I would rather remake those like cards from those three decks. I would rather make them. I'll be nice enough to remake them. We got 9 million likes because each one of these likes gets me $1 or $20. Or and I really want that play button, diamond one. It's so hard to get when you're like you don't have like the equipment that you need. So I